Welcome back to the Beyond the Batter's Box podcast. I'm your host, Nick Kemper. Today I have former Division One softball player Kylee Studioso and current Base by Pros employee Kylee. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, thank you. Well, to start, tell us about your story. You grew up here. You
Yes.
went to a JUCO, and then you went to Division One. Talk about that.
So I grew up here in Linwood and I went to Meadowdale High School, graduated in 2011, and was a West Coast shortstop. As weird as that is, the coach did not have me pitch hardly ever. And I played for an organization called Northwest Lady Sharks, which was out of Redmond, and got recruited to play at Weatherford College, which is a Division One junior college in Weatherford, Texas. And they offered me a good scholarship to go there. I had an offer at Oregon Tech, had to pick which one. And my visit at Weatherford, I always wanted to go to school in Texas. UT was my favorite school.
A lot warmer there.
Kat Osterman was my favorite player of all time, and I wanted to be just like her. And that's where I wanted to be. So I accepted the scholarship offer the next day, played 2 years at Weatherford College, and was an All-American there. And then transferred to University of Central Arkansas, which is a Division One after that, and played there for my last 2 years and won a Southland Conference title. Then I played professionally for a year after that in Italy.
What was the experience like going from JUCO to Division One, and then to professional softball? Like, how much of a jump was that from level to level?
From JUCO to Division One, to me was a little more seamless because I was already down south. I knew the culture, but the practice schedules at JUCO were a little bit harder than at Division One because there's no
No
regulations.
rules.
And so we did a lot of running and a lot of conditioning, just a lot of things that were not, I guess, PC when we were there. And then going to Division One, it was nice to have like a structure. And with a program that had just become eligible for postseason play was awesome. And then going from D1 to professional was almost a step backwards because over in Europe, the professional softball isn't as structured and they can have youth play. So they're just trying to bring awareness to the game by bringing Americans over.
You say youth, like how young are we talking?
I had a 16-year-old on our team playing shortstop that ended up coming over here on an exchange program the year after I left.
Was she solid at least?
She was
She
good.
was
She
good.
was getting
Okay.
looked at to play for the Italian national team at the
Okay,
time.
that's good. So how was Italy then? I mean, that's got to be like a cool life experience just in general, like being able to go over for Italy for work basically, and then like being a really cool part of the world.
It was awesome. I only went for 1 year. I played for a team called Collecchio. So they were up near Parma. And then when that season was over, I played for a team called Caserta, which is closer to Rome. But I have family there. So I have second cousins that live in Spino Trina. And I traveled up and down. I met them. I spent 2 weeks with them. At the time, I could speak Italian fluently because I wanted to
Sick.
order food right.
Right. That's sick.
But I got to see so many things, and I can't wait to go back. I definitely want to go tour, go back. The friends that I have there are still playing there, so it would be fun to go see them again, and just kind of share that culture with my family. Hopefully, they decide to come with me.
Going back to your college career, your last year at Central Arkansas, you threw like 250 innings, which from a baseball perspective is like unheard of in a season, just because like baseball guys like once every like 5 days. In softball, you guys like every day. I don't think people realize, when softball players go out there and pitch, like there's only like what, like 2 to 3 pitchers on the team, and like two of those guys are taking the brunt of the work. Like, what was that workload like for you?
My last year at Central Arkansas was awesome. I loved being in the game and being a part of every inning. I was the person that wanted the ball. I did not like sitting when it was cold outside or just hanging out and sweating. But we had a team that was so special and knew it right off the gate. Our coach signed us up for the toughest schedule that team had ever played. We played OU, LSU, Louisiana Lafayette. Like, we really had a tough schedule. And being a major part of that as a JUCO transfer was huge. It was the best year I could have ever asked for. And I was thankful I had good staff, good trainers, and that we were in the right shape to get there. But I kind of was a princess in that way of like, I got to pitch my bullpens, I got to get my conditioning in, and then I got to hang out and wait for game day because I was pitching 2 games on game day, back to back games.
Right, doubleheaders. How close was your team that last year? Like, everybody talks about like the greatest teams are gonna be like super close. Like Hannah Shimmick was on here and she talked about like her national championship teams, like they were super close and tight together. Like how close was your team?
Our team was really close. I mean, we did everything together. We're still in contact. So the girl that actually caught for me is now the athletic director at UCA.
Oh, sick.
And I've gone back to Arkansas and done camps down there, and I help volunteer at a fundraiser down there. And I've had old teammates come over and say hi and come visit for the day. So it was really cool. And then it was over. So
Right. Yeah, it goes by quick. You mentioned the still doing camp stuff with them. Obviously now you still play, right? Like you're playing slow pitch now, right? Like you got like a ACL tear. Like what's going on with that?
yeah, so right after my pro season in Italy, I transitioned into pro slow pitch. And I played for a team called Di Marini back in 2017. I got picked up, played for them, and then I transferred over to another team out of Orlando right after that. And at that point, women's fully sponsored teams were unheard of, and this was one of two. And played for them for the year. And then in 2022, I did tear my ACL running to first base by myself. And I had batted like a over 900 at the tournament at the World Series. And it was the only ground ball I hit. And I did beat it out for what it's worth, but I lost in the long run.
Thanks for throwing that one in there.
Had to
Well,
try.
you mentioned DeMarini. Was it like the back company,
Yeah,
DeMarini?
Dean
Okay.
Rainey, the bat company, they sponsored our team with equipment.
Okay.
And I've become really good friends with people over at Dean Rainey. And then in 2018, I got sponsored by Louisville Slugger.
Yeah, for people who don't know, we got a couple custom made Kylee Studioso bats.
Yeah, now
There's
I'm
like one of like three that we have here. We got like 20 more. She's got what sponsorships from all over. Tell us about that, like the sponsorships you got.
Yeah, so Louisville Slugger was my first sponsorship, and I'm super thankful for my time with them. I got to design bats and be their first female sponsored athlete. I was one of 5 women on a contract at the time, and I was the youngest one, which was really cool. I was 23, and I ended up being able to be their first signature female, which means I got to design bats with my name on it and get sold nationwide. So I made a catalyst for anybody that played softball. It was like the bat. It was yellow. It was cool. Everybody had to have it. So I remade it with opposite colors.
Okay.
And then I was the only woman to ever have a signature bat at the time. And then I got to do one more with Louisville before moving over to Pure, which is now Boombah. And I'm super thankful for them. They picked me up after my injury, after not being sure what I wanted in softball anymore, to kind of help grow their company for women. And they have given me 3 signature model bats. The first one was called the Revival. So I was coming back from my injury, kind of coming back into who I wanted to be in softball. And then the yellow one on the wall is actually a Down syndrome awareness bat. So that one's called Nothing Down About It. And then the one next to that is the double shot. So that's the newest one.
This Kylie loves Starbucks. This looks just like some of that Starbucks would market. So I guess maybe if Starbucks is watching this, like probably give Kylie like a sponsorship deal too.
You gotta start your day with a double shot to hit a double. So I'm very thankful for my time with these bat companies and to be a woman that can influence and help push young girls into that world and show them that female athletes do matter.
For sure. For sure. When you were going through, your sponsorship deals, like what is that process like? Like, do they reach out to you? Do they, because like you Google now, like your name, and like there's a whole bunch of YouTube videos of people that are basically just reviewing your bat, and you have no clue who they are. Like they're random people that are just reviewing your bat because it's on the market. What is that like process like? How do you even get into that? Like, obviously you have to have a well acclaimed stature as an athlete, but in terms of getting a sponsorship bat deal, like what is that process like?
So when I was with DeMarini, I actually just wasn't a fan of the product and wrote an Instagram message to Louisville Slugger Slow Pitch and was like, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. These are my accolades from my D1 college career. And that I wanted to swing Louisville because I liked their bats in fast pitch. And I just wasn't a fan of the DeMarini slow pitch bats at the time. Little did I know that their sister companies, Louisville and DeMarini, they're both under the Evo Shield umbrella.
Mhm.
And the man that runs DeMarini was running both Instagram pages. So he saw that I didn't like his bats and put me in contact with, at the time was Dennis Turner at Louisville Slugger, and was like, if you don't like my bats, maybe you'll like these ones instead.
So he was cool about it at least. Like he
He was
wasn't like,
cool. And to this day, we're still really good friends. I can call him anytime. He'll pick up the phone. And when he comes to Seattle, we'll do demos. Like he'll have me try bats out every once in a while and he'll ask me, so do you like these ones? Because he remembers back when I told him I did not like their product. And then with Pure, after leaving Louisville, they actually approached me when some things had happened over there. And he was like, well, what do you want? What can we do to get you over here? And I was just very clear that having a signature bat was a big deal for me and my job and women in general. And they said okay. And I had one made in about 2 months.
isn't Will sometime ever from my college days, like when we played, we was like Rawlings. No, it was Wilson, DeMarini, and Louisville Slugger. Like, is Wilson under the same umbrella too, or are they separate?
Yes,
They
they're the
are.
same.
Okay, that makes sense then. Of why those three are always kind of co-aligned. Well, now with you being like, because you're still playing slow pitch, but you're also basically a softball instructor up here in the Northwest. What is that process like, and like, how do you balance that? Because any given week, basically, like you'll be like, "Oh, I'm flying to Texas or I'm flying to Florida, whatever, for softball." Like, how do you balance schedules and like how like inconsistent or I guess how consistent is that slow pitch schedule now?
This year, the slow pitch schedule is it's almost every other week at the beginning, and then we go to once a month starting in June. So that's a lot. We're playing all East Coast. I play on a team called Juno Athletics. They're based out of New Jersey, and all the girls are East Coast. So I just get the long haul flights.
Lone West Coast girl.
I'm the loner. I take the red eyes. I go early, stay late, kind of get my tourism down. I like to see places.
Yeah,
Um, but it is a grind. Like I have to really figure out what days I'm leaving and communicate. I'm still lucky the families that I have are so great. The kids still think I'm cool because I play softball.
that's a big plus.
So I have some cred somewhere. And they love watching the videos. So I have a couple and they're like, well, you can go if you post a video of your hit. And I'm like, okay, I'll post a video of a hit that I get. But it is like trying to figure out the schedules here at base, making sure that everybody gets seen. And a lot of times I double my schedule the week before I leave. And then I'm gone for a week.
Make up for it, kind of per se. What is your or like what's the biggest thing you've learned from playing softball worldwide, basically? What is that whole process taught you, not just in softball, but in life?
I think that you learn more as you play more. So like at the very beginning, I thought I was cool. Like I just thought I would had all this swag. I was this cool young girl that could hit home runs, and it was something that a lot of people couldn't do when I was starting out in slow pitch. And then coming straight from D1, I was like, yeah, I got this. And then now looking back, like I probably shouldn't have been big headed as I was, or like thought that I was better than somebody because I had a D1 scholarship at the time. So now playing softball, I think it's such a powerful point for women's sports. Like I look at women's sports are growing. The AUSL is huge, and college softball is one of the number one watch shows on ESPN right now. And getting to be somebody who built the bridge and been a part of the stepping stones to get there, I look at that and I want to teach the girls that I work with how to walk those stepping stones.
Right. Developmentally, because you work with girls of all ages, like what do you tell people or like what's the big thing that you kind of help like teach people to kind of get to the level that you got to?
I teach them to have a lot of fun, and to be their own person. Like I want every girl to have their own personality and to be who they want to be, as well as teaching them, to be honest, very basic parts of softball. Like we're not reinventing a wheel. We are pitchers are throwing strikes and we're throwing movement, and batters are attacking pitches in the zone, and helping them feel confident in who they are as a person and a player has really helped develop their game.
How hard has it been? Or I guess what's the moment of adversity that you had like when you were playing throughout your entire college career? Like what was the biggest moment of adversity that you had?
Well, I think at junior college, can I break it into a couple?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, junior college was definitely being away from home. So, first time I had moved away, I'm one of 5 kids, huge family. And I moved to Texas not knowing anybody. And the coach that we had my freshman year was physically, mentally, and verbally abusive. And so, learning how to combat that by myself, really, without having my family there, was really, really hard. And, really soaking into the friendships and my roommates and the campus police officers that were there that became my family. Like, they helped me so much just get through a lot of that. Our coach did end up losing her job after my freshman year. And a lot of it was she was just an angry person. Like, and she really helped me as a coach form who I don't want to be. I remember I got shoved into a backstop because I threw a ball. Like, she was so mad I walked about her. And I got pulled, didn't pitch for 4 games. Told to sit outside the dugout because I wasn't what she wanted. So, and that was at University of Texas Arlington. Like, vividly remember being there, and I had to sit outside the dugout the whole time we were there. Um, so that was a big one. Just like, I don't know, I was 18 trying to figure it out, and then having to deal with that on top of it
Yeah.
was really big. And I'm really thankful for my friends there. We're still friends. I visit my roommate 2 or 3 times a year from college. We're best friends, and super thankful for that part of the relationship that came from there. Um, and then I think Division 1 was like almost imposter syndrome. Like, I'm too small to be there. I'm 5'6". I am not a big lady. And so going to play at the D1 schools that I had watched since I was a kid on TV, I just felt like I didn't belong there. And so every time we played a big school, it was like almost surreal at the fact that I was standing where I had watched on TV and then trying to figure that out. And then I did great. I had a great career, but every time we went to a big school, I had to really remember that I did belong there.
Is there anything in particular? Because like the metal game is a very popular topic now. Like, is there anything in particular you did to kind of get over that like, imposter syndrome? Like,
I had really good coaches at Central Arkansas, really good. They did really good pep talks, and like it did take me till my senior year to figure it out. We did play Oklahoma for the regional, and it didn't go our way. Of course, it wasn't ever going
yeah,
to,
right.
but the coaching staff that we had, the pitching coach that I had there, her name's Jenna Smart, and she is just an awesome human being. And we became good friends after I graduated. And she really just kind of hammered home that I did belong. And I think that women need to know that. Like, we just have to know we fit in, that we do belong, that this is our place. And like, just a little bit of, positive affirmations are good because we didn't have all the mental training that we have now.
Right.
I do wish that we did. I think it would have made a difference.
How do you recommend? Because there's probably less so for women, but just in general, I feel like there's still a stigma around like the mental health and like the mental part of the game. How do you recommend, somebody basically start doing that? Because I feel like if you start too late, I mean, there's no actual too late, but if you start at a point in your career where, like let's say you're going to OU tomorrow, starting that night, it's probably gonna be too late. So like, how do you like what's the recommended age range, or like what do you recommend kids do as they get older to try and like combat that mental block that they sometimes get?
It's super cliche, but reading, there's a lot of powerful books out there. Mind Gym is one of my favorite books.
Hmm.
And it's short stories, easy to read. And that was one I brought with me on a lot of plane rides. Um, but I do think, once kids are able to understand a little bit more in depth, that's when you should start. And just talking situations with parents and post games in the car or pre games in the car, and having them be positive conversations instead of what did you do wrong. Like, kids are kids, they're supposed to make mistakes. And if there's more positive car rides after games, I believe kids will see their value more as they get older instead of always looking at the negative.
Travis Snyder also talked about the car ride home, or I guess the car ride to the field too, and how much of a like nurturing environment that could be for kids like as they grow older and basically develop into fully human beings, like how productive but also damaging that could be. And a lot of it comes from like what mom and dad says in the car, and it's super tough to see the kid who basically, puts his head down after makes an error because he knows he's gonna go get yelled at later. Like it's discouraging. When you have players in here, if you ever see that type of stuff, like because you're gonna be advising this next summer, not this summer, but like 2027, for the Northwest Show, like what are your steps that you take to try and combat that? Because obviously that's a slippery slope. Like you don't want to step in and like be parent number two, but like how do you navigate that process with girls and parents?
I think with the girls, just having a good relationship with them is, I mean, it's everything. Just having a relationship of I want to be that person they come talk to, and then being able to coach them through the moments and teach them how to fix it for next time is how I'm gonna go about it. Like I never had a female role model like growing up, and I didn't have female coaches that were there to be like, this happens. It's okay. Like we're going to have it again and you're going to make it better for the next time. So, really being able to talk that through, and then with our teams being from Washington, we are going out of state. And so playing against top teams from Texas is always going to be hard. But being able to speak from experience of what I've got to do in my softball career is going to be a huge tool, being able to mentor the young girls. And then parents, just really coaching them too. Like we have to coach the parents on how to be good sports parents
Yeah.
and being able to make them a part of our family more so than just a team. We want the team. We know we get the girls, but we also get the siblings and the aunts and uncles and the moms and dads and the grandparents, and we want them to feel like this is their second family.
You mentioned earlier how softball, like as a sport, is growing as a whole. How much or how quickly is that gap closing with baseball?
It's huge. We went to the Mariners game over the weekend and softball was on the TV.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was playing right above us. Yeah,
And to see that is, it's crazy to see that. Like when I played, we had like 10 people in the stands.
right,
Unless you were at Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Arizona, like nobody came to watch you play.
right.
And now, I mean, there's $1 million NIL deals happening in
And the
college
College World
softball.
Series sells out. I mean, it's like a raffle system, right?
It
Like you
is.
have to like basically get on a wait list and just hope to get a ticket.
I so badly want to go and watch,
Yeah,
but it's in Oklahoma. It's kind of sweaty there right
right.
now. But yeah, it's a raffle system. Like you have to get on a list and you have to get lucky to get a ticket.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see, and then to see the AUSL pop up, and that's such a
The draft
success.
just happened recently. Yeah.
It did. And the girls that are graduating this year from college have done so much for the game. And it's good to see them continue onto the AUSL and continue to grow. And Portland just got a team.
Right.
So the Portland Cascade is our local AUSL team.
That's awesome.
And a lot of the girls from here are driving down there to go watch games.
That's awesome. Do you feel that with the introduction of revenue sharing with schools and more info is coming out how institutions are basically in massive amounts of debt. There was something that came out, I think, yesterday that's like Syracuse is like $1.5 billion in debt, like as a school, which is not sustainable in my mind. Do you find that hard because like baseball is not a revenue sport either, right? Like a lot of times, unless they're at like a few select schools, every sport's going to lose money except for basketball and football. Like how much of a obstacle is that for softball to continue growing? Because there's some schools that are getting facility upgrades. Like OU just got a massive stadium that's going to sit like I think 10,000 people, which is almost unheard of in softball. Like, how much of an obstacle do you think that's going to play, or do you feel like that's a non-factor because softball is growing too much?
I think for the small schools, it's a big factor. Like for the not top 25 or power 10 schools, like that is a huge factor. They have to keep up. And then now with the transfer portal, like they're not being able to keep their really good players to bring revenue in.
Right.
But for your top programs, softball could very much so be a moneymaker.
Yeah.
There's so many young girls that are growing, they're coming up our system and they're growing up wanting to play for these schools. I look at the UW games, every game is sold out. And they're also getting a stadium upgrade.
Right.
22, I think it's $22 million.
That's awesome.
So they're putting more stands in to fit more fans. Oklahoma is Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That they're
Different
so
beast.
they're just, it is something else to be there, to play there, their fans there, like they have to be, bringing something in over at Oklahoma because they can. The fan base is
It's
insane.
rabid. Yeah. Plus, I mean, having the World Series basically in your backyard helps too, right?
Yeah, it's that's nice home field advantage.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
stadium there is really nice to play
Yeah.
in, so it is fun to be there.
Yeah. I think. I mean, last time I looked at the numbers, it was like baseball. It's like LSU, Mississippi State, and then like maybe Arkansas or Texas, and like that's the only baseball schools that make money. And I think softball is similar in the sense of like I think OU does make money now. I think Texas might be there too, but it's mainly just like Southern schools.
Yeah.
And like you have like old powerhouses like a UCLA who is in big need of a stadium upgrade. I think their stadium only sits like 900 people, and they're finding that like it's just hard to bring in the money to basically upgrade that stadium and then also keep players. Like they're losing players to like a Texas Tech or like a OU basically. What is the I guess alternative to trying to maintain like not just like a national power, but then also like the mid major that's like trying to stay relevant, trying to keep their players. Like, how do you combat all the big schools that are basically just picking players with bigger money?
I think that's the question everybody's trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
right.
The way they changed the transfer portal has changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed recruiting for the girls out of high school. It changed how junior colleges are looked at. It changed, I mean, being able to pay players NIL money. I wish so badly that I would have been a part of that.
Yeah.
And so I don't for the mid there's just really not a way for the mid majors to keep up. And there was an interview from one of the smaller schools this year. One of the players was talking about it openly, how their school just can't compete
Yeah.
against those schools unless you find a lot of girls that want to stay close to home. They want like Jordy Ball is a great
Mm-hmm.
example. She left OU after
From
winning a national
Nebraska.
title and went home to Nebraska.
Right.
She got married. She's perfectly happy. She wants to be on a farm.
Right.
Like she's just good at softball, but likes to go fishing and wants to be on a farm.
Yeah.
And so having more players like that could help. Players that show being close to home is important.
I was actually just talking to some guy on text the other day, and he's like in the baseball development space, and he's like, you can't keep up with the amount of constant changes. It feels like every day something's happening, somebody gets sued, and they like end up getting their eligibility back, which is just insane to me. And like we have guys that are in seventh and eighth and ninth years of eligibility. And I mean, now I just saw something. There's like a 26-year-old who got drafted in the NBA like 6 years ago and played in EuroLeague after that, and now he's looking at going back to college apparently. Like LSU's supposedly going to pay him to come back, and it's just like there's no lines, there's no rules. Like there's supposedly this 5-and-5 coming out where you get 5 years to play 5 years, which is different. But like nobody can keep up, and I think it's challenging for not just administrators but then also coaches because I remember hearing about stories where coaches are like, yeah, you can come here, but like it's gonna be up to compliance. Like we don't even know what compliance would do. We don't know what the rules are even. Like we want you to be here, but it's not up to us anymore. And I think when it goes away from colleges or like when it goes away from coaches, the ones who are actually making the decisions every day, and then private equity is getting involved, like it's becoming a full on professional sports. And I don't think that's an avenue that most people want to go through. Like maybe the guys who are making money, sure, but like most of the people and the average college fan do not want to see that because then you're
Mm-hmm.
going to see the same 10, 12, 15 schools every year dominate. There's no parity. There's no like general uniqueness and that sense of like true college sports, because how many times have we seen on like Sports Center ever like the team that came out of nowhere made the World Series? It's a great story. That will cease to exist almost entirely.
Absolutely.
And I think like that's where we get into like a danger point. We've made college athletics so monetized now, and there's so much money. There's guys, football players mainly, but they're getting like more money than they would on their rookie contract in the NFL, which one isn't sustainable because like these investors and people that are paying them, they're not getting anything back for it. Like the only thing they're getting back is the satisfaction of saying like, "Hey, I helped my school win a championship." There's no monetization transaction. So like what exactly are these guys looking to get? And oh, by the way, like, yes, these people that are writing the checks are billionaires and have vast amounts of wealth. You write 4 or 5 checks for $20 million total. Like, that's a big chunk of money that you're not getting back. It's like
Right.
that isn't sustainable in my mind. Like, I don't know how this can continue to keep going.
Yeah, I have no idea. It is, I mean, it's the Wild West out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big money schools are in the South where the oil fields are. I mean, you
Right.
get a lot of oil field investment.
Texas Tech. Yeah.
Texas Tech is, I mean, their softball investment is, they've got Nige Kennedy making over $1 million.
She made it. Yeah.
And she
First
went
one,
to,
right?
yeah, and she
Yeah.
went to Stanford for
Right.
education.
Yeah. Like it's tough to turn down a
And
Stanford
she
degree.
like wanted a job because that's what we're conditioned to think is like, we're going to go to school, we're going to get our education paid for, maybe grad assist and get your master's paid for, and then get a job.
Right.
Like that is what was ingrained, at least in my head, and a lot of us before
Mine too.
NIL.
Yeah.
And there was, I remember the article about her mom asked her, "Will you make $1 million your first year at your job?" And she said no. So her mom said, "You better go.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you go make that $1 million."
It's hard to turn that down, and like regardless of the the Stanford degree that she could have gotten, is that worth it for her? Like, it is in the long run, basically, is the $1 million up front basically going to overtake any potential job loss she might have? And which, by the way, like she's famous now, like she probably won't struggle to get a job, but like it's still a Stanford degree. So like, how much of a factor does that weigh on her? And like $1 million that right away in your face is hard to turn down.
Yeah, I think that any opportunity to make that amount of money, and that was her first year. Now she's there her second year.
Right.
And then she got to deal with Adidas. She's the first female athlete to have a softball cleat. That's just hers. So she's getting endorsements from all over and then having the opportunity to play pro. I think she'll be just fine.
Yeah,
But again, it's the world's changing and we don't know
for
when
sure.
it's going to change back or
Right.
when anything's going to, turn the page.
And it's not just like social media fame anymore. Like I remember when Livy Dunn was coming out and like getting all the NIL stuff, and everyone's like, well, like it's not because she's really good at gymnastics; it's for something else.
Right.
And now it's becoming where like women's basketball players, softball players, tennis players, like they're getting massive deals strictly for how good they are, like on the
Hmm.
field. And I think that's really solid too, because like that it shows that like we're not just basically giving deals to somebody based on the attractive level that they have or like how good they are on social media.
Yeah, and I think it's across women's sports in general. And Caitlin Clark is a lot to
Yeah,
thank for that. I mean, what she did with basketball.
still is.
Yeah, I mean, she's killing it. And
Yep.
so a lot of women's sports are just growing and they've failed in the past. I mean, we look at the WNBA, it hasn't failed, but it
Still losing money.
hasn't been great.
Right.
And then there was a pro softball league, the NPF, that did fold. It did fail because they couldn't find any sponsors. I think their best sponsor was a pen company. Like like
nothing,
ballpoint pens.
nothing says softball like a good pen.
They have a documentary on Roku. Like the documentary isn't even on Netflix or
Netflix.
it's
Yeah.
on Roku. I think it's called Burn the Sales. And it's about the NPF and how it failed because they had no sponsorships.
I didn't even realize Roku had its own like streaming service.
Had to look for it. It
That's
was
another thing too that we need to talk about is the TV market, because like there is, I mean, cable's non-existent. There's a streaming platform everywhere now, and everybody's got their own subscription package. I remember when everybody ditched cable for like YouTube TV or whatever. It's like, oh, it's gonna be way cheaper, and now it's like you have to have 12 different things to get the whole like everything you want, which is gonna be more than cable.
Yeah, and then it's like ESPN plus plus plus. There's like an
Yes,
episode of South
which is
Park that
separate from
does that.
Disney. Yeah,
And it's like Super Best Buy, Super
yeah,
Best Buy, or like ESPN plus Super Max, and you have to
yes,
buy all of them. And that is, I mean, it's wild. We have so many streaming services because
yep,
one TV show's only on Paramount, and
yep,
then the other one's only on Netflix. And then if you want to watch college softball, ESPN plus,
yep.
but then you have to
Flow
upgrade.
TV.
And
Yeah,
yeah, Flow TV is another one. I
yep.
mean, that's huge. But yeah, I mean, it's just everywhere. My TV has so many apps on it, even in the
I know.
building.
We all. I mean, we all. I feel like, I remember hearing like NBA games are gonna be on Peacock,
Yeah.
and I'm like, since when did Peacock get into like the sports business?
The Mariners
Right.
game was just on Peacock for the
Yeah.
NBC broadcast. I think it was on Sunday.
I think I saw like another graphic, and like the caption was like, "What are we doing?" And it was like a weekend series for whatever was like Peacock, Netflix, ESPN Plus, and then like the Monday game was on like Hulu or something. And it was like,
How much money can we make to
yeah,
to
right.
air your
How can we
channel?
squeeze out of every single last
Yeah.
customer?
It's my least favorite when I have ESPN Plus and then the game I want to watch is on the SEC network.
Yes.
Then I have to purchase
Purchase
another.
yeah. They all have their own, yeah, it's such a huge conglomerate too, because Disney owns it feels like everything. And to basically have like an own separate package. Like I think nowadays you can purchase MLB TV,
Yes.
But you have to then purchase an ESPN subscription as well because there's some deal there.
And then there's the MLB Network Plus too that gets you more games because not all of them you
Because
can
the like
watch.
the blackout or whatever, which is
Yes.
the dumbest thing ever too, by the way. Yeah, I
And then
don't
you
even
can
get that.
purchase that game. And when
Right.
we're traveling, we love to watch the Mariners play.
Yeah.
So we have an MLB, but it's like the free subscription.
Right.
And then we
Yeah.
don't get to watch the fun games that actually
Yeah,
matter.
right. Because let's stop the consumer from getting what they want. Yeah, it's crazy. Wow, I think we could talk all day about that because I think a lot of that too, like the TV contracts, is what's driving a lot of the college changes. Like
Mhm.
you look at the SEC and the Big Ten now, and they're getting massive payouts from their TV contracts, and it's separating themselves from the ACC and the Big 12, and it's just becoming, how much money can we get, and like the cross country travel is insane. Like I
Mhm.
remember somebody basically showed like a schedule. If you go, like let's say you're Rutgers and you go to play Washington for football on like a Friday or Saturday, okay? If that game starts at 7 o'clock local time on the West Coast, like you're not getting home till like 7 a.m. the next morning
Right.
because of the time change and the travel and everything else. And it just becomes like, all right, at what point is like human health gonna, you know, take paramount of like this is probably not a good idea for 18 to 22-year-old kids.
Right. I mean, I'm a huge softball fan.
Yeah.
So getting to see every game on ESPN was like a really
Big
big
plus,
deal when
yeah.
it first started. And then it was like there was 25 games on ESPN and then there was 50 games on ESPN. And now every single game is on ESPN.
Right.
And, they had Oregon playing at 10 p.m. at night just in the regional. The
Right.
game started at 10.
Yeah.
And then it was raining and they kept those women out there. They're
1
like,
a.m. on the East Coast.
you're playing today.
Yeah.
We don't have any room to not play this
Yeah.
game. So
And that's another thing too. I remember when I was in Ohio, at school and being in the Eastern time zone, West Coast games started like 1 o'clock in the morning,
yeah.
and I was just like, "This is insane!" Like nobody's staying up to watch this game because it's not like a normal time for anybody to be awake, much less just like somebody who works every day. So yeah, that's crazy, and hopefully they figure that out. Hopefully somebody steps in that has some say and skin in the game and can fix it because it's getting out of hand. All right, well, wrapping up here, okay, 20 years from now, Kylee Studioso, somebody hears that name. What do you want them to know?
I mean, I would want to leave a legacy behind that like I did something right. Like I want people to look at what I built more so than what I did. And I think being able to build the young girls and have them walk their path for me is way much more rewarding than me playing for myself. Like me playing for myself at this point is just for fun. And when people look back, yeah, it's cool. I got to be the first woman with a bat and I got to be the first woman with 2 different companies that have bats. And like that's cool and all, but it's about the next girl that gets that same opportunity. And I want to be a part of that conversation. And then I want 20 years down the road, one of my kids to come in and work here and want to do the same thing. Like I think that would be the most rewarding feeling of all time is to see one of my kids build their own like softball army of these awesome girls.
Right. Last two questions here. One, do you have a crazy story, whether it was in college or in pro or in high school even, that like you almost had to like see to believe?
There is there is one. When I was at UCA, we were playing in a preseason tournament and we were out by the beach somewhere. I can't remember exactly where we were, but our coach had went across the street to sit on the beach and read his daily devotional. So he didn't have his wallet, he was wearing sandals, and he's just like walking in this beach town. Coming back, the cops picked him up for jaywalking because he didn't use the crosswalk. And he's walking across the street with his Bible and devotional book in his hand with no shoes and no ID. And they had to walk him into the hotel and have somebody ID him. And that was like, we all couldn't even believe it because that was something we were like, really, who does that?
Well, and jaywalking, I mean, like now it's even more laughable.
Like, what are we doing? And we
Yeah.
were in the South. Like, what was this guy actually? There's way bigger fish to fry
Right.
down there. Like, there had to have been a tailgate somewhere else that they
Yeah.
could have been dealing with. So that one was hilarious. And then, I mean, he was a character. I mean, I to this day still talk to him, and I remember him. We were playing OU. I was pitching, and I hadn't been called an illegal pitch all year because now there used to be illegal pitches. Now there's
Hannah
not.
also had a story like this. I think.
There's like no rules anymore. And I got called the illegal pitch at OU on strike 3. So he came out and he argued, and they sent him back to the dugout. And let me my coach wasn't a very big statured human.
Right.
And then that happened again. And then he came out and he argued again, so they kicked him out. So he went and he sat outside the dugout. Then he was arguing from the bullpen. So they had to stop the game and kick him out past the bullpen. Then he was arguing again. So they had to kick him out back to the locker room, where he left the locker room and went behind the stadium at OU. And he was yelling, and all you see is his head like popping up over the fence. So they just stop the game and go get an escort and bring him to the locker room. And we're all because we didn't even get through the inning. Like, we couldn't even keep going because he's arguing the whole time.
Isn't an ejection like you gotta just stay out for good?
Yeah, you're supposed to like go to the bus, hang out in the locker room, and he just did not get his 2 cents in enough, and
good for him.
really just wanted to like get it done. We were an underdog anyway,
Right.
and so those 2 stories for me at UCA, I mean, they just stand out because they're hilarious.
Right.
I mean, looking back, we were like, come on, like, let's go.
Yeah.
And now playing slow pitch, there's so many weird things that happen. I've seen coaches throw trash cans on the field because they didn't like a call. I've had people be like, please throw me out.
Yeah.
And the umpires go, I have to stay here. You have to stay here. So they actually now keep them in.
Right.
And it's way more funny to watch them do that.
Right. Okay. Last question here. And I ask everybody this. Give me your top 3 athletes of all time. Could be, well, usually I like to think about like who you think are like the best athletes. Some of them, some people have given me like, who their favorite athletes were. So, top 3.
All right, top 3. Michael Jordan goes on mine. I love Michael Jordan. Space Jam.
Yep.
It's my favorite. He's fantastic. I think Kat Osterman is overlooked in softball, what she did for the game, and she's still involved. She is one of my favorites. She's my favorite pitcher of all time, but she belongs up on my favorite athletes, best athletes. And then I'm gonna go hockey with a Wayne Gretzky.
Whoa, I think that's the first hockey one we got. Not many people don't say hockey. Good for you though.
So I like his quotes about, you don't make any of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
And like, I just think that he's great at perseverance and showing what you can do.
For sure.
So I'm going to put him up on my 3-headed Mount Rushmore.
Those are good choices for sure. Awesome. Okay, Kylee. Well, thank you very much for coming on. This is Kylee Studioso. I'm your host, Nick Kemper. This is the Beyond the Batter's Box podcast. We'll see you next week.